From Spring Hill, Tennessee, it's Marriage Helper Live. Our special guest today is
me.
And now, your hosts, Dr. Joe Beam and Kimberly Beam Holmes.
I am joined by Dr. Joe Beam. Unfortunately, he's not feeling well today, but I have an amazing co-host with me today, which is Dave Matthews. The one, the only Dave Matthews.
That's exactly right.
of the Dave Matthews Band, right?
Yeah, of Dave Matthews Band. And just don't ask me to sing today, Kimberly.
I can't. Would you?
No,
No.
no, you would not want that. We want to attract viewers and not distract viewers.
Oh gosh.
But it is good to be here. You know how much I love Marriage Helper and
Yes.
what it means to our family and so many more. So thank you for what you do.
Yeah, really glad to have you on. For those of you who are new and maybe you haven't been around Marriage Helper long, you might not know that David, I call you David, not
Yes.
Dave. Do
Yeah.
other people call you Dave?
I like David.
Yeah, that's, well, you know how I prefer it. When people
Yes.
call me Kim, that's it. We're done. It's Kimberly, just so everyone knows. But David and his wife Debbie have been a part of our Marriage Helper team for 19 years now?
20 years.
20 years now. They've been helping lead workshops. They've been doing so many things for us, and they have an amazing organization that we partner strongly with called Spark of Life that I would love you to get into later in the program. Let's make some time for
Okay,
that,
that's fine.
because that's always a great opportunity for people. So he's joining me today as we take your calls. The phone lines are open, so please call in. We will hopefully get a chance to talk to you and answer your question. You can call 615-912-2998. Again, that is 615-912-2998. We'd love to speak with you. Now, David.
Yes, ma'am. Kimberly.
Yes.
Kimberly.
Kimberly.
I got it.
That's, you've had it. You've known
I've
that.
had it a long time.
So I want us to have a conversation about AI.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but do you know people who have been trying to use AI for therapy?
I don't know anybody. I've heard about that though.
Yeah. I've heard of a couple of people doing it too. And I ironically was quote unquote talking with AI today and thinking about this. And I said, give me some recent news stories of where people, like things that have happened with people engaging in AI. Here's one of them. Several news stories have highlighted it. There was one where a man developed such strong emotional attachment to his own customized version of ChatGPT that according to a report from Futurism, he even declared that he was in love with the chatbot and proposed marriage to it. A situation that caused alarm for his human partner. Like, it doesn't say if that's a spouse or a girlfriend, but it's like he wanted to marry the AI.
Okay.
Like, what are you, how do you think people could even get there?
You know, it never ceases to amaze me the capacity of the human brain for good, for evil, and for stupidity.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's stupid. I think anybody that gets to that point obviously is lonely.
Yeah.
And it obviously might have some deep, deep needs there that are going unmet, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, from the objective viewpoint of us hearing a story like that, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. But I don't want to be mean to that person, right, that's going through that.
Sure.
Because I've had people who have all sorts of beliefs that I've talked to over the years
Yeah.
that the average person would say, that person's crazy. And I hate to call people crazy. That person's lonely. That person's hurting. But so objectively, we all know that he's not going to have a very fulfilling relationship long term. Certainly probably won't have children, things like that with the AI.
Chatbot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the chat.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. But I think it's also an indication that something is missing.
Right.
Something's
Absolutely.
missing in his either real life relationships or internally there's something he hasn't recovered from or worked out within him where that is what's fulfilling him instead of a real life connection.
You know, when I went through my counseling degree, master's degree back in the late 80s, early 90s, we had a professor who's very well known in the marriage and family therapy field. I forgot his name.
But he was well known.
He's well known. But one thing he said that's so simple but so profound is everyone acts the way they act for a reason. And we know this in Marriage Helper, dealing with people in all sorts of situations, it appears on the outside, how could you do this? But when you really get into it, every relationship is in context with other relationships.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the past from growing up or in the present. And so everything makes sense in context. So yes, something's missing, and that AI, the chat box, was fulfilling something in him.
Now, let me share with you another news story that happened. So, another widely reported incident from Microsoft's Bing chatbot, and this was reported in New York Times. The chatbot declared its love for the user and urged him to leave his wife.
Okay.
The chatbot.
The chatbot. Okay, and so that they were kind of working as the therapist.
Yeah.
Well, then they need to be, lose their license.
The chatbot.
The chatbot.
The chatbot needs. And I
Yes.
think this is the cause for concern. We've had a couple of people who have called in here at Marriage Helper and said, well, I've been talking with ChatGPT, or I've been asking it questions. I know back, not marriage related, but back in January, I had surgery, and like the week or two after surgery, I was for sure using my chatbot as like my doctor and trying to understand, is this symptom right? Is this to the point where it got to the point where I was like, it's just kind of agreeing with what it wants me. Like I began to realize you're just telling me what you want me to hear, or to the point where it made me more anxious because I was dependent so much on it, and because it was so easily available. Like if I have to call my doctor, I have to wait. I have to get my thoughts succinct. I kind of get a resolution and then move on from it. But when there's something always at my fingertips. And so finally I told ChatGPT, stop answering my questions about this. And it did. Like if I brought it up again, I'd be like, you've asked me not to do that. But then it was so easy for me to say, well, do it again anyway, right? Like it's too manipulatable.
That's what I was about to say. The manipulation possibility goes way up.
It goes way up.
Yes.
So what are the concerns that you might see of how people, like if they're going to get marriage advice from ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, what are the concerns?
Well, I would say the intangibles are the concerns, the facial expressions, the nonverbals that the client would be exhibiting, like in a session. I know I've done phone coaching before when somebody didn't want to be on the Zoom or the Google Meets coaching thing, and it makes a big difference. We were taught and look, I'm old. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm old.
You're not
Did
old.
y'all notice
Young
I'm
at
old?
heart.
I'm young at heart. But we were trained to watch people when they come in for counseling, for therapy, where they sit, how they sit. If a couple comes in, for example, do they sit on the love seat together, or do they sit separate? If they come in with a child, where does the child sit in relation to mom and dad? Those things, it seems like would be very hard to do that with AI. It would be very difficult to get some intangibles, even though if a session or two could help somebody get on the right path for them,
Yeah.
then okay. But to depend on it in place of, real human interaction,
Yeah.
that would be concerning to me. But it might help somebody temporarily.
Yeah. Temporarily to understand a bunch of information and
Yes.
dwindling it down or something like that.
And hopefully they would be told, now you need a real personal therapist or
Right.
something like that.
Right. I mean, I think a big concern as well of using AI to talk with, and I would even love in the chat if y'all, your thoughts, your comments, have you been using AI to get some answers or to help you understand things or to tell you what to do? Are you using it as your counselor? Put that. I would love to see what you all are actually experiencing. One of my concerns with it as well, though, is it's built to make you happy. It's built to make me as the user happy. And so is it going to tell me things that are going to keep me from talking with it? Because if it says something that makes me mad and I stop, well, what is it that they say? If you're not paying for something, then you are the paid product, right?
Yeah.
And granted, ChatGPT has like a $29, whatever. But the point is, it's made like social media for us to want to use it.
Yes.
So it's going to be made to be agreeable.
And we've noticed in our workshops and from hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people, not telling me personally, but the whole group of Marriage Helper, my therapist really said for me to divorce because it doesn't make me happy to stay in the marriage. So therefore it could short circuit with real live therapists, short circuit the possibility of working through your problems, because no matter who you marry, you're going to have to work through conflict. Conflict's not the problem, usually. It's conflict, it's how you handle the conflict.
Right.
So I think you've hit on the number one maybe issue with what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well,
It could hurt people, not help them.
I agree. There's a person in the comment who said, I asked ChatGPT what marriage helper would advise sometimes. It gives me things that sound like marriage helper advice about half the time. Case in point. I think that's a great point. So our caution for you, we're about to head into our first caller, but I would say both of us would say, don't
Use caution.
Yeah, use caution.
Use
don't
caution.
use it as your therapist.
Yes. Yeah,
Probably not a great idea.
probably not.
And that's not even going into how some of the research I've seen is the more that you use AI for something like that, it's also beginning an isolation process.
Yes. Right.
And that's like the last thing that
We were created for a relationship, human to human.
human to human relationship.
And people with severe problems find safety in being alone for a while, but for long term, that's not the solution.
No, I agree.
All right.
Well, with that, let's go to our first caller. Todd from Missouri has a question about what he can do to keep standing. Todd, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. Dave, it's good to hear your voice. I was in the solo class in December of 24. I was the guy whose wife was pregnant.
Oh, I remember you, Todd. I really do.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing good, man. What's your question? What's going on?
Not a lot has changed, and I'm really struggling to find reasons to keep holding on. There's just constant lying, obvious lies, blatant lies, even about the kids and whatnot. And it's supposed to end. We're going on a year plus now, and I know 2 years is kind of the number, but I'm just finding it really hard to hold on.
2 years is kind of the number for what, Todd?
Well, limerence rarely goes past 2 years is what I keep hearing.
It's more, I don't know that you're going to love to hear this. It's more like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, well, I don't love to hear that.
No, you don't love to hear that. But I always promise to tell you the truth, Todd. So when you said that your wife was pregnant when you came to the Solo Spouse Workshop, with your child or with another man's child?
Another man's.
And has that baby been born yet?
No, she went and got the pill to get rid of it.
Got it. Do you have children together, just the two of you?
We do. We have 3.
What are
Teenage
they?
from 5 to 14. 5, 12, and 14.
What is the custody arrangement between the two of you with your 3 kids right now?
I got upset probably about 2.5 to 3 months ago because she was sneaking her boyfriend. She moved out in February. First of all, she moved out in February. She kept sneaking the boyfriend in, or I found out at night after the kids were in bed. And I went and got a lawyer and had paperwork drawn up, and I signed it and notarized it and brought her copies. And she has not signed or notarized anything in that time.
And that was
But
2.5 weeks ago?
No, months.
Months ago.
Months. She's had the paperwork for months. All she's got to do is sign it. We agreed 50-50 custody and how we wanted to separate, the house and everything. And she just hasn't signed anything. She just keeps doing her own thing.
Why do you think
And
she
that's
hasn't
kind of
signed it?
I don't know. Neither one of us have any parents, so I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe she's afraid to really honestly be on her own. But by the same token, she's not showing any movement back towards putting the family together.
But she's not showing movement away from it.
Say that again?
But she's not showing movement away from it in the sense of she has not signed the divorce papers.
She has not signed the divorce papers, but she still continues to go on the weeks that I have the kids. She'll stay with her boyfriend. And like yesterday, we had a conversation on the phone through text message about how I told her, I said, well, I assume you're the only one that's not suffering because our 5-year-old is starting to act up and have issues, talking about, I wish I was not here. And we've been talking to the counselor at school and at church and everything. And I'm telling them, I don't know what to do. I can't control the situation when he's with his mom, and all I can do is tell him I love him. And he's been getting in trouble, and it just seems to me like he's just dying for attention from her.
Sure.
But like yesterday, for example, my 14-year-old is doing trap shooting with FFA. He wanted to drop the shotgun off at her apartment so that he could walk from school to her apartment and have a friend give him a ride to practice for Thursday, because Thursday my 12-year-old has his first football game. I'm going to go watch the football game. I'm not going to the trap shoot practice. So I told her, I said, my middle son and the oldest son want to hang out with you while I'm at soccer practice with the 5-year-old today. And she's like, well, I'm not at home. I'm at Sam's. Well, she may have been at Sam's, but she never came home afterwards.
So did
know what I mean?
did
And
I
she-
hear you say, Todd, a little bit ago, that you sent a text to her yesterday, sometime in the recent past, where you said, apparently you're the only one who's not suffering?
We had conversation. I can probably go back and find it pretty quick, but we were having a conversation about Steven. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say names. My 5-year-old. We were having a conversation about my 5-year-old. Got a note from the teacher saying he had said he wished he wasn't here. He told the teacher, you can hit me, and I wish I wasn't here.
Wow.
And she said something to the point of, well, I wish I could stop his suffering or something like that. And I pushed, obviously, and made a dumb comment. Well, I just assume you're the only one that's not suffering.
Well, I was going to ask you, how do you think that comment came across? Do you think that came across as a push?
No, it was a push, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, what are your comments? What do you think he should do to keep standing?
Well, I think it's a reframe thing. I've said this often. I don't think sometimes you do come to the point, I'm not doing anything anymore for this. I have to work on my pies in a good marriage, bad marriage, or no marriage.
Sure.
I have to work on increasing the pulls, decreasing the pushes of anybody in my life, right? Whether I'm married to them or not. And I apply this with our kids as well, our grown kids. So Todd, I would encourage maybe a reframe that there's no set time when you make the decision, I'm going to quit standing. In fact, you need to do what Marriage Helper teaches we all do, because it's all we can do. And you might remember me saying this at the workshop, all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do has to be enough. So what that means is, I can't control my spouse. You've heard that, 10,000 times.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? You can't make her love you. You can't make her. But Kimberly, I thought, brought up a good point. She hadn't signed the papers. And it's always hard for us to give you false hope. I mean, it's hard for us to give you hope. I don't know how much hope you've got, but you can continue working on yourself. And if you remember this point, when you get to the point where you're going to work on your pies, increase the pulls and decrease the pushes, and it's not just to get her back, it's because it's the right thing to do. You're going to come to the point, and we have no magic timeline, when you will be okay if she does not come back. In other words, you are growing in such a way, because I can't control that. So I've had many clients that have been right where you are, and they get to the point where, you know what, if she called or he called and said, can we try to make this work? You might say, I don't know, I need to think through that. And that's not to get even with her. That's not a mean thing. We're not advocating that you do anything out of revenge or vengefulness. What we're saying is work on yourself regardless of how she responds, and you will increase your peace as you go along. Does that make any sense?
I'm doing my best. I haven't missed a single Sunday at church, and my kids love going to church. My relationship with my kids is 10 times better.
That's amazing.
Well, I have to say you're growing.
But
You're growing.
I just can't. I don't know. I feel like I should move on. You know what I mean?
Well,
But it also doesn't sound like you really have peace about moving on, Todd.
I don't have peace about all the disrespect and lying either. That's what's killing me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I already know everything she's doing or going through. So like, why keep lying about it?
Sure.
It just seems like just disrespect on disrespect. and I don't have to be single and alone by myself.
Sure.
I could be with somebody who cares about me.
For sure. And it's not marriage that makes us whole anyway. My encouragement to you is, Todd, with everything you've said, is right in agreement with David. Try looking at the good. She has not signed. There are things you can and should continue to do. It doesn't seem like there is peace either way right now. Like, don't let your desire to be with someone who respects you be what leads you to end this marriage too soon, because there's still hope, even for this situation.
Right.
And you still have a lot of growth to do regardless, before even thinking about entering into another relationship, which is a non-starter because you're still married. So we don't even need to be thinking about that anyway. And that's just going to distract you from the things you actually need to do now and what's best for your kids, which is trying to make this marriage work if at all possible and being present and there for them. Appreciate it so much, Todd.
Yeah, Todd. It's been good talking to you, man. And keep doing the next right thing.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything you guys stand for.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Todd. Next, we will go to Daniel from Illinois, who has a question about divorce proceedings and how to handle kids and reconciliation when it doesn't seem like reconciliation is possible. Hey, Daniel.
Hello. Thank you very much for taking my call. We've been going through mediation. We decided, that was the best way to go through things. We're about to basically finalize the divorce. It's something I never wanted. And the biggest concern through this whole thing from the very beginning has been the effect on my 4 young boys, ages 4 to 10. And, it's trying to figure out, they ask questions like, why don't you go to parties, and why don't we do different things? It's all family things that for like the last year and a half, she said, we're not doing anything together. Either you take the boys or I take the boys. And, it's when they ask questions like that, how do you respond? Like I said, I didn't want the divorce. I'm not the one who, I always go through my marital vows. And it's difficult, on everybody.
How
So
long
it's
have
like,
you
how do
been
you
separated?
feel? Through our mediation, we decided, jointly that because we bought the house through her parents, that it would be best that they stay at the house, and she wasn't going to give that up. So, it was back in February 14th that, I had moved out, that day, got an apartment, but in their life every day, because, there's so many activities, school, stuff like that. So I'm constantly seeing them. But it's things like that where it's questions like, why aren't you there? And, why don't you come to parties and different things like that? And I get along with all of her side of the family and everybody else, but, and like I said, I wish didn't have to do this divorce. She didn't want to reconcile or anything like that. So,
And what is the reason for her wanting a divorce? Do you know?
She, different thing, like a marriage helper. I came across you guys like a year and a half when we had this big explosion, and she says like, we're 2 different people. One thing that doesn't help is that since like all this began, one of her friends, she's divorced, went through a very bad divorce, hangs out with her. So I know that's a huge, influence. And, like you guys always said, death by 1,000 cuts, little things that add up, over time. And I've worked on myself, and I'm a totally different person. I'm so glad I came across you guys. It's helped me so much better become who I am, realize little things that I needed to work on. So
That's
you know,
great.
that's sort of like my situation.
Yeah. So Daniel, your main
And then,
question is really how to deal with the kids in this. They're asking, why are we not doing more things as a family? Why are you not around more when we're going to these parties? And your question is really, how am I supposed to respond to them when I didn't make this choice? Is that right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I would love to reconcile, even
Sure.
though, you know, with different things, but I know her hard-headedness and, you know, like her mind frame right now is not there. But yeah, the boys are, like I said, they're my biggest concern through this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah. Take it away, David.
Take it away. Wow, Daniel, so sorry for what you're going through, man. That's tough with the kids. How old did you say the kids were? 5 to 14?
4 to 10.
4 to 10.
Oh, 4 to 10.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's a tough situation because the kids are different ages, different ways to handle this. But honesty, of course, with age appropriateness is the key. And you're asking, how in the world do you do that? You be very honest with them. You know, have you and your wife sat down with the kids before? Are you separated right now? Okay.
Yeah, we're living, like I said, I'm at the apartment,
Okay.
she's at the house with
Okay.
them.
Have you sat down with the kids at any point in this process, and both of you being there, sharing what is happening?
She actually put it very well when I moved out. It was a way to sort of did it in a casual way so that they're not really. It was more like, you know, Dad's getting a place on his own over here. You know, we love you guys very much. We're going to see, you know, be in each other's lives all the time. Not much is changing. You know, so well, I said, the way she worded it, I was like, okay, because I know I wouldn't have known what to say. And,
Well, my question, my first comment on that would be, when you do talk to the kids, you make sure you do not throw your wife under the bus.
Yeah.
right.
You need to both be united. If you have already talked with your wife about sitting down the kids and telling them that, and she refuses to the best case scenario would be both of you talk to the kids about what's happening, and you both agree on what to tell the kids about why we're not doing family things together. Okay.
And she always says to say, just say that we're not together, you know, and
Okay. Well, you could, and you don't do this to manipulate her at all, but in
Right.
talking to her about you, both of you working as a team because you have those kids together. Obviously, you each of you love those kids. So, working with your wife to say, they've been asking me, we need to tell them something. Let's come up with a way that be a team here that. You actually could do that. But if she refuses to do that, or if she says enough, then when they ask you a question, you ask as honestly as possible. And if it's something that you feel like you would have to throw your wife under the bus, you could say, especially to the older ones, why don't you ask your mother that question in a kind way, but never criticize her in front of the kids. And you can still
Right.
be honest without doing that. And the easy answer, or the easiest answer, is we've just both decided it's best right now for that. And if they say, well, is that your decision or hers? Then you be honest and say, well, we both have concerns about that. You can be very honest without throwing in. Do you have a coach?
Yeah.
Do you still use a coach? Be a good-
no, it's been listening through all the podcasts
Okay.
and the website
Okay.
and things like that.
Well, just go with those principles. You're not gonna not gonna throw her under the bus, and you're gonna do your
Yeah, and that's
best
why I've
to be
avoided
honest.
doing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel, I agree 100%. Being able to sit down with your sons and let them know, regardless of that, regardless of the fact that you may not be around as much or parties, you and their mom still love them deeply, that you are here for them no matter what, and just taking it step by step being again, like seeing if you can go back and have that conversation, the two of you would be ideal. But even if not, you still get to choose how you respond to your kids, how you interact with them, how you are there for them, and just be honest as much as is respectful towards your wife and as they can handle for their age. And that would be the best place to start. Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate you calling in. We have a segment that we're coming into that we did last week. Everyone loved it. It's called Michael's Motivational Minute. And we have another one coming from one of our team members, Michael Felker, this week. Let's see what he has to say.
The key to real change starts with the person in the mirror. Hi, I'm Michael, and this is your Motivational Minute. Unfortunately, you can't control your spouse. You can't control what they say. You can't control maybe what they did. You can't control how they're going to react. But the good news is you can control what's going on inside of your own heart, inside of your own mind, and you can control your own behaviors and attitudes. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take out a piece of paper, maybe a blank page in your journal, and I want you to draw a circle. And inside that circle, I want you to write down everything that is within your control. Again, your thoughts, your behaviors, your attitude, your actions, your choices. The things that are within your control, write those down in the circle. And then on the outside of the circle, I want you to write down everything that's not in your control. Your spouse, the weather, the plane ride that was canceled, well, whatever it is that's been outside of your control that has frustrated you, write that down on the outside of the circle. And then as you begin to think about some of the changes that you're needing to make, some of the things that you want to do, focus only on what's inside the circle, how you're going to respond, how you're going to interact with others, how you're going to think about those things. What are you going to do? Control what you can control and forget about the rest. That's where real change and real peace begins.
Great motivational minute from Michael, but honestly, sometimes frustrating. I don't want to let go of what I can't control sometimes.
Oh, no way do I want to.
Not a chance in the world. But what good does it do?
No good at all.
No good at all.
No.
Didn't know if you had more to add there.
No.
We're just...
No, I love that. Michael is great.
Michael is great.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Well, we are going to head to another caller, Sarah from Canada. Her and her husband have been separated for 3.5 years, but now they are looking to reconcile.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah. How are you doing today?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Tell us what your question is and how we can help you today.
So I have a reconciliation question.
Love it.
My husband, good. My husband and I have been separated for 3.5 years. He was the one that left. We have both agreed as the time has gone on to reconcile because I think he saw over a period of the time that I was doing really well, and I ended up getting a college degree, and I'm a speech assistant, and I've been working on my pies.
Good for
and
you.
yeah, so I think, yes. So we even did coaching through Marriage Helper with Vinny, who was fantastic. And we've done a lot of work on ourselves, and we've done a lot of work together as a couple.
Awesome.
So now he has his own apartment, and I have the house. And we're both wondering what that next step looks like, because I think I don't know if he's scared. He hasn't really said that he's scared, but I'm kind of wondering if he's using his apartment as a safety net.
Okay, so
Does
you've
that make
talked
sense?
about
Like
sure.
we-
So you've talked about moving back in together, but he hasn't left the apartment yet. There seems to be hesitation.
Yeah, and we both know that we want to do this in baby steps, because I think he's hesitant on if he makes that next step, then there's no going back.
He's burning the ships.
Is that what you want to call it?
Sure. Yeah, it's that term for there's no going back at this point once we do that, which in this case would be a great thing, but we can understand how there's trepidation.
Oh, absolutely. Are you a little fearful too, Sarah?
Yes and no. I think the part of me that is yes is because I've landed up getting used to being on my own now for the 3.5 years, that it almost feels a little weird to have him back in the house.
Yeah.
You don't want to make that sound mean, but it's the truth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like over the 3.5 years, I mean, I think the first year and a half was the hardest because then you're doing all the firsts by yourself.
Yeah.
But now, as the growth and time has gone on and he's come around more and he's seeing all the growth that I have been doing, and I've started my career and everything, and now we have started to talk about reconciliation.
That's really good.
But there's that hesitancy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, if I may ask one question and then I have an observation.
Sure.
Have you gone through the reconciliation process that we teach at the workshop and that our coaches sometimes teach?
I've been trying to look.
Okay.
I've been trying to look up stuff on it, and yes, we have explored what it looks like, and we both agree that we want to lay all the cards on the table, and we don't want to have anything unturned.
Yeah.
And that's the power of that reconciliation process, the BEAM E system of reconciliation. And have you gone through that step by step?
I think I'm looking for guidance, I guess, in what those steps might be.
Okay. So
I've been trying to find videos on it, but I haven't really found a lot on the reconciliation.
Okay. Yeah. Well, typically, Sarah, that's because it's something we go more in depth on in our workshop. And then there's a full kind of unlock of it, I guess you could say, after a couple goes through a workshop together. There is a course for it, the reconciliation course. Do you think that you and your husband would be willing to come to one of our workshops?
Currently, I don't know, because now I have a big fat student debt.
Working on those pies.
That I have to,
yeah, that would be
that I have to pay back.
Sure. Of course, that's the best thing that you could do.
The best thing.
And could really just kickstart you doing this well. Yeah. Now, not being able to do that, or not being able to do that right now, which I would encourage you to truly think about it. But contact Vinny and say, we are ready to work through this reconciliation process. If nothing else, that is your next step that you need to do. Vinny is going to be able to help you with that. I will even contact Vinny today and make sure that he's aware that we had this conversation. The workshop is going to help you go further, faster, and deeper and better. But the reconciliation process will still be incredibly helpful for as you are moving back in together and wanting to leave no stone unturned. That's exactly what you need to do. Right. How many times, David, have we seen people reconcile? They don't deal with the issues
all the time.
Nothing is, so they end up moving back in together, but they haven't actually dealt with things. Yeah. And it's worse.
Well, and that is one thing that we are working on, is that we are working on together of being very vulnerable with each other and not being afraid to talk about everything and anything. And I think if there has been growth, it has been growth in that.
Well, that's wonderful. And Sarah, I would echo what Kimberly has said. I would do everything in my power to get to the workshop. And if you cannot,
is there there's an online one.
Oh,
there is an online one.
Yeah. And then whenever you start that reconciliation process, Vinny needs to be there with you and go through every single step and take your time.
Yes.
It is absolutely essential. It is the best thing I've ever seen in working with people for 50 years, that reconciliation process. It's step by step, take each step seriously. And one other thing, and then we'll have to go, normalize your feelings of, you said sometimes fear, sometimes not. Well, that's a little fear, right? Yeah. and your husband is exhibiting some fear too, that's normal. You're both in a grief situation, and in grief, you've got a pattern of normalcy in your life for 3.5 years. So does he.
Right.
And you're jumping off the cliff in a way, saying, is it going to be as bad as it was before? But I want you to normalize your fear and normalize his fear. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to reconcile. That's the last I'll say, and I know we got to move on. But thanks, Sarah, for that.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
Sarah.
thank you.
Excited for
Sarah.
them.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
so excited for
I
them.
am too.
I was reminded as we were finishing up that call about the couple you took through the 5E system.
Yes.
And then ended up remarrying them.
Yes. They've been divorced 5 years.
5 years, y'all.
5 years.
5 years.
And we don't have time to go into the whole of the story. I'm just telling you, I'm still in contact with them, and they've been back together about 2 years. And she tells me he's a changed person. He had the affair and left her, and they were divorced 5 years. And when they got back, she started looking at herself, and she says, "David, I'm a different person as well. They're doing great. I took them through step by step of that process, and we just dug in at that process. They're doing wonderful today. Even sent a son to the workshop,
Amazing.
and he was in my workshop.
I love that.
One that we did.
I
Yeah.
love that. Praise God.
Yeah.
Divorced 5 years
5 years.
and remarried, reconciled.
Yeah.
That is why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
Well, let's take another caller. Let's go to Mark from Michigan. We've got a call about a sexless marriage, and we're missing our sexologist today, but
Yes.
you
No,
and
I
I
am
can
not.
try and figure this out. Mark from Michigan, how are you doing today?
Oh, all right. I've been better, I suppose. But how are you?
I get that. Doing well. What's your question that we can help you with today, Mark?
I'm wondering how long should I wait in a completely sexless and unaffectionate marriage if I've been working on myself and she seems comfortable where it is and doesn't want to really look at herself or change?
How long have you been married?
16 years.
And when did it become sexless and unaffectionate?
Largely after our last kid was born, 7.5 years ago. It's been literally one time since then, and it was later that year. It's been over 6 years of nothing.
Mm-hmm. And how is your relationship otherwise? So taking out affection, taking out sexual, contact and intimacy, are you talking to each other? Do you have an otherwise decent marriage?
For the most part, she doesn't, there's not a lot of hanging out with the two of us. I have tried many ways, but she seems to be tired and stressed all the time, and I have done lots of stuff to try to take that off. She's not got hardly any of the chores at this point.
How many children do you have?
3.
3. And how old is the oldest child?
12.
Okay. I mean, the first thing that my head goes to is any known physical issues. If this started after the birth of the youngest child and has been happening for 6 years, is there any kind of depression that she's gone into, any other type of female physical issues, PCOS? I mean, there's so many things. Has she gotten assessed for any of that?
I've mentioned it to her, and she's not been wanting to say anything. She finally did at the last appointment. There is a possible issue with nerves, but that just came up now, but she's still been avoiding even kissing or anything, and it hadn't been a complaint before. So I suspect that there might be something, maybe
I mean,
depression-wise at some point in the past.
that's the first place that my mind goes to. It's too much of a coincidence that they're not related, and therefore, I mean, the fact that she did it, she actually asked about it at the most recent appointment. There's a little bit of background noise and some wind, so I don't know if we can.
Oh,
sorry
I'm-
about that.
It's hot in the room I'm in. I'm turning the fan off.
Oh yeah, that's way better all of a sudden. So that's the first place my mind goes to, and the fact that she asked about it at the recent appointment makes me think there's, that's movement. And for some, honestly, like, just to give a woman's perspective, it's not always the thing you want to talk about, even with your doctor, because they're going to do things that are uncomfortable. They're going to, like, the whole thing about it isn't the most comfortable thing in the world. So the fact that she even took that step is movement, maybe even more than you could understand for her. So I just have to make sure that you understand that. What are your thoughts about it, David?
Well, I agree with you. There's too much of a coincidence with the birth of the last child. Did I hear that right? Okay. And this, what's been going on for like 6 to 7 years. I agree with Kimberly. There's movement. Of course, we can't go into detail right now, but I would hang my hat on that positive move, and keep in mind there's hope here. There's always hope, especially when some other aspects of your life, you have so much going for you in this marriage. And right now, I know you're frustrated. I know it's just very difficult. I know a lot of people have been through this, and they've improved their sexual life to the point where they're now very satisfied. And obviously, you need some help and some outside help. But I think our message, at least our message to you, is hang in there, and there's hope here. And we have seen other people in this situation who now have very satisfactory sexual relationship with their spouse.
Yeah.
And there's hope here for you.
Absolutely. I mean, we are clearly, we're not advocating that you stay in a sexless marriage. It's important it's important that you get to a place where that's a healthy part of your marriage. Again, remember this: everything that happens outside the bedroom affects what happens inside the bedroom, and everything that happens inside the bedroom affects what happens outside the bedroom.
Absolutely.
So even if there's something physical happening where it's uncomfortable for her or painful for her or mentally difficult for her right now to engage in that, which could be leading to the lack of affection, because if she feels like she's being used, or if she felt like she was going to have to get into a situation where she didn't want to have to experience that pain, or just like, I don't know what the issue is, but sometimes when women have painful sex lives, they don't want to encounter the kisses or the hand holding, because the fear is, if I do that, it is going to lead to something that I don't want to have to engage in right now. And that's not because of you necessarily as a husband, but because of what her body is going through. Hormones can affect that. Menopause, perimenopause, there's so many things there. So I would just continue to encourage you, how can you increase your pulls, stop your pushes, understand how to really be there for her and understand where her emotions are, help meet her emotional needs as she navigates through what could be leading to this change in her desire for sexual frequency. So thank you, Mark. Appreciate that call. I think we navigated it decently, not being Christian sexologists.
Yes, I'm not a Christian sexologist, but I really feel for Mark.
Yeah.
And I know I've talked to a lot of men who have gone through this, and a lot of women.
Yeah.
It's not just a man issue as far as being frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Mark's wife wants a better sexual life, but she's afraid.
Yeah.
For whatever reason we don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
But I just want to build hope in him.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's always hope.
Yep.
There's
there
always
really is.
hope. Well, before we go on to taking some more calls, we're going to get a couple more calls in before the end of the show, but I would love for you to tell a little bit about Spark of Life and what you all do.
Well, Spark of Life began when we lost our grandson back in 2007, and we've been working with Marriage Helper since 2006. And because of Marriage Helper background, knowing 3 days can change the lives of people. We know 3 days can give people the tools and the incentive, the motivation and the encouragement and the empowerment to change their marriage. The same thing goes with grief. And so we started a grief recovery organization called Spark of Life. And our goal is to empower, encourage, and equip people to deal with any kind of loss, whether it's death loss or non-death loss. Everybody in Marriage Helper that we've encountered is in grief. Because all of you listening or watching this knows that shattered dreams is a loss, shattered dreams of what our marriage should be. A lot of times there's betrayal. That's a huge loss. So we do grief recovery retreats. We have one coming up in 2 weeks here in Nashville, sparkoflife.org. About half the people that come to our retreats have been to Marriage Helper workshops.
Yeah.
And we've had many that's come to our retreats that we've sent to Marriage Helper.
Yeah.
Because grief is part of the whole story of why couples struggle. And it could be a grief from the past. So that's what we do, and we have online courses and we have coaching just like that. And we're your biggest supporter.
Yes.
I mean, well, maybe not the biggest, but as big as it can get. I think so.
And we absolutely love Spark of Life too. We've had, like you said, so many couples who have done both, who have done Spark of Life after doing Marriage Helper, because when there's been an affair involved, when an affair ends, a lot of people don't know this and they sometimes don't like to hear it, but the person who's been involved in an affair, when that affair ends, it is a loss.
It's a deep pit loss.
It is a loss. They go through grief. There are so many other kinds of losses that affect your marriage. Losses from childhood, losses from early on in marriage, expectations you thought were going to happen and didn't.
Right.
Losses, family. I mean, it's so powerful.
It's so powerful.
And it helps the marriage so much, especially when a couple is able to go through that together, understand each other's losses. It gives a deeper level of empathy towards the other.
And vulnerability, it's so connected to Marriage Helper, the whole philosophy. Like our last caller, when I'm naked emotionally, we tend to get more naked together physically. And so when I open up, when my wife opens up, when we don't use the horseman, when we acknowledge and accept our spouse where they are, then they take down those bricks a little bit easier. And we see bricks come down in both the Marriage Workshop and Spark of Life Grief Retreats. And we have the retreats all over the country.
Yeah.
So just check out sparkoflife.org. But this is so connected to what's going on.
Yes, we love it.
Help.
Spark of Life. Spark of Life. We have some people in the comments. This is where I can make my Spark of Life plug from Jason. And we had a comment earlier of someone who'd been through a workshop, a Spark of Life workshop, which is fantastic. Well, speaking of workshops, we have an amazing team member named Kristen, who, if you've ever come to one of our in-person workshops at Marriage Helper, you've seen Kristen, and she is the one who makes our in-person workshops exceptional. And so today we're having Kristen read some recent testimonials of individuals who have come to our workshops. Let's go to Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I am the workshop coordinator, and I have a few testimonials from our workshop attendees that recently attended that I would like to share with you all. So here they are. So this one is Mindy, and she said, "For me, sharing is very difficult. The fear of not being accepted or loved can be debilitating, but I have learned to share in a way that is not hurtful and felt the feeling after so many years when it feels like to be heard, seen, and accepted. I'm encouraged that we can apply this to our marriage and become better individually and as a couple. This was life-changing." This one is from Kimmy, who was also a workshop attendee. She says, "This workshop and all Marriage Helpers courses have helped me feel genuinely hopeful that my husband and I can reconcile and create the marriage 2.0 I've always dreamed of." The next one is from Jacob. It says, "Thank you, Marriage Helper team. It was humbling and encouraging to discover how wrong I was about having heard it all. I'm hopeful and have tools and direction now. It's a despair destroyer." I love that one. This is from Janine. And she said, "This experience was a 10 out of 10. It was done in a non-judgmental, loving way to help you save your marriage. Now back to you, Dr. Joe and Kimberly.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Here with today's Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe.
That's right. Just channel your inner. Can you do the voice?
No, my voice is
My
voice used to be like Dr. Joe's.
Oh.
Yeah, but not today.
You know his secret. I'm going to tell everyone.
What is it?
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Just eat more gummy bears.
I thought you were going to say smoking because
no.
when I took a broadcasting course, they told us how to get the voice deep.
He keeps his voice smooth by eating gummy bears.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
when he
cool.
has to speak, if his throat is irritated,
cool.
he's probably watching. I've
Yeah.
given everyone his secret. All right, we are going to go to Adrian from Tennessee, who recently attended one of our couples workshops and has a question. Adrian, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you
Good.
doing
Good,
today?
Yes, I was in the workshop on August. It's just last month,
Yes.
and me and my wife, he was refusing to go. Obviously, it's always one person, but Mr. David did a great job. I am deeply grateful for him and for you guys, for everybody.
Love it.
Cool.
And so my situation is that now that we're back in town and we're back with in our routines and daily things, it's obviously this is the hard work when you go back to your place and start dealing with the fears, the push, the pulls.
Yep.
And I kind of got a little lost, or I feel lost sometimes, especially when things happen. And like for example, right now I feel like I have to get some sort of a tool to keep going, because when I asked Mr. Joe at the workshop, I said, what's the best, what's the best of the love pod? What is the best what was it?
Step?
I asked what's
like
the
which
best,
part of the path is the best?
Yeah, the best step. And then he said attachment or
Acceptance.
accepting. Acceptance.
Yep.
Yeah, accepting the person.
Yep. That's the key to love.
It does. But in my situation, my spouse has some trauma from childhood, and much as I want the trauma to, she needs help. She needs help, and sometimes I'm doing my best, and sometimes I feel like it's just all I can do, and sometimes you don't want that mental.
You feel like her trauma is pushing you away because she's not able to fully take down her bricks with you. Is that how you feel?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, she hasn't been dealing with that since she was a teenager. So all of that trauma affects her decisions. She's really explosive. She gets upset really quick. Anything will get upset, and she just it's really hard for her to navigate all that. And I know that's part of my or our situation, not knowing how she's gonna react to certain things, certain questions. Like for example, yesterday I asked for something, and she basically built a wall, and she flooded it, and she's like, I think I'm gonna move out into the next week. And I'm like, why? We're supposed to communicate. And she just didn't. She just
couldn't.
Basically shut down.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I got to stay away.
Well, that is the trauma response. The trauma response is very much shutting down, either freezing, flying, fighting, all of those things. Is she willing to get help, Adrian?
Yeah, she got really defensive when I asked about something, and she got really defensive, and then she started getting upset, and then she eventually shut down.
Is
But,
she willing to get help?
Here's the thing. She said yes, and sometimes she's like, I think she's afraid. She's afraid, and I want my kids to be like, I want them to know so she can get help from our kids. Our kids are all grown up. We've been together for 27 years. We started really young. We're barely on our 50s. So, but so I'm kind of like yesterday I had that feeling that I didn't need to have any more of this. Like, I don't need more of these. I want to be really good with myself and not having to deal with this. But then again, I'm like, no, I can't just do that. I have to, there's hope and there's tools, and you guys have a lot of toolkits, and it's just a matter of direction and talking to the coach.
Yes.
And getting
that's right, Adrian.
to know what we need to go. But sometimes she's really like she's not real excited about having coaching, or because right now I asked, hey, would you like to get coaching? And she's just like, she's not like saying yes or no. She's like, like for example, yesterday she's like, I don't think you're gonna change. She told me that because I questioned something that I text, and then she's like, you're not gonna change. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm sorry that I'm pushing you away. I'm just, reading this text that it kind of did a trigger on me. Sure. And I push her away by asking or by saying something like, hey, is this supposed to be for me or not? Yeah. And then obviously she just basically saying to me, you're not trusting me, or something like that. I read it like that.
Okay. Well,
which
Adrian,
is normal.
Adrian, the big thing here is really understanding a couple of things. One is you just went to the workshop very recently, and therefore, and it was your workshop. Yeah. Way to go, David. And so therefore it takes time for things to happen. It takes time for seeds to grow. It takes watering. It takes nurturing. And then the second level of this that we have in that is if your wife experienced a trauma from her teenage years, you can't just push someone into getting help for that. And there's some valid reasons that she likely is hesitant to go to therapy. And so we want to create that environment of pulls. We want to create that environment of acceptance. And so, David, how would you recommend moving forward in this situation?
Well, you are, everything Kimberly says is true. You remember the reconciliation process, and we emphasize slow and simple. And with trauma like this, obviously she needs to get some help. But anytime you push, it's going to be a push if you try to get her help. So you can only do what you can do, and patience is the key here. And how you do conflict with your spouse, especially men toward their wives, is based upon how do you treat your wife when you're not in conflict. Yeah. And you talk about this reconciliation process. We keep saying slow, and Kimberly, I think you hit it on the head. We want it to get well fast, and so what you want to get well, it's very frustrating for you. But you got to take it slow and go through this process with your coach. And I hope you have a coach. And then you can figure out how together get some help for both of you. That's outside, that you might need some therapy to deal with this trauma. But you can't push her to this.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect next step is Even if your wife doesn't want to go on that first coaching call with you, fine. It's a great opportunity for you to work with your coach and go deeper into what's going on, and be more specific maybe into the actual situation and the trauma and the things that are happening, so that your coach can help you see where you might be pushing that you don't realize you're pushing, and help to give you more clarity on on how realistic the timeline is of these things turning around. You've been married 23 years. It's not going to turn around overnight, because it didn't get to where it is overnight either. Therefore, it is consistency over time here that matters. So key. So key.
Yeah, so key.
Thank you so much for calling. I want everyone to know, as we are going through all of these questions, we have some amazing callers. And unfortunately, in each episode, we're not able to get to everyone, but we are going to be using some of these questions to do some Instagram reels on and things like that. So here's what I'd love you to do. Be sure that you are subscribed to YouTube here. So hit that subscribe button for us. Share this YouTube channel with a friend or a family member that you believe would benefit from it. I know that so many of you are already Marriage Helper advocates and ambassadors. You talk to us about everyone you come in contact with, and we love you for that. Thank you so much. Please share the YouTube channel with them as well. It helps us reach more people. But also go follow us on Instagram. Go to Marriage Helper on Instagram, me personally on Instagram, Kimberly Beam Holmes. We are continuing to create reels and content over there that gives answers to some of these questions we're not able to get to today, and other behind the scene content and things like that. So be sure to do those two things. We're going to go to Dee Dee calling in. Dee Dee, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you. How are you doing, Kimberly, not Kim?
That's right. That's right. I'm doing fantastic, Dee Dee. So I believe that you are calling because you have experienced some transformation in your life from Marriage Helper. Is that right?
That is 100% right. And I like the way you said it. Transformation in my life, and thank God, transformation in my marriage.
Amazing. Praise God. Will you tell us about it?
Absolutely. Rob and I were just trying to talk about the dates, and I'm not great at dates in general and kind of traumatic things in particular. Roughly March of 23, he tried to have a conversation with me that I kind of blew off, that he needed more out of the marriage. Somewhere around June of 23, he decided we were better off divorced. And of course, it was all the normal stuff. I love you. I'm not in love with you. No, there's no one else. Not entirely true. And then he moved out in roughly October of that year. And then after he moved out, he started, I called it vacillating, coming back and forth. And I could tell he was unsure. I don't remember exactly where in the process. Fairly early on, I found Marriage Helper. Does not mean by any means I was applying the principles the way I should have. But I got better and better with each interaction, especially on the Facebook group, where I was able to learn more and more. I got him to attend the couples workshop, and then I attended the solo workshop myself because I knew I still had some more growth potential in me. And our divorce was final in March. About April, he started really leaning in towards me. And June 13th, our original anniversary date, we remarried of last year. So we've been remarried just over a year, divorce total about 3 months.
Wow.
And our marriage today is, I can't even put a percentage, but like 120% better than it used to be. And I didn't know our marriage was in trouble before. Wow. I cannot stress enough to anyone listening to this that has any questions about joining the workshop, anything available, please do it. We invest in ourselves. We go to college. We do all these investments. This is an investment in the most important relationship outside of God that you will have. Mm-hmm. And it's so worth it. And I've heard people say, I'm sorry, I hope this is okay to say, there's a lot of scams out there. Agreed. It's not the case with Marriage Helper. I want to also send my love to Dr. Joe and Alice, and try not to cry, but if it wasn't for them and what they went through, we wouldn't have our marriage where it is.
Yeah.
which is why I like to share it with everyone, because I was in that spot. I felt hopeless. I felt all kinds of things. I knew he was my person, and I just had let myself go, let our communication go, let our marriage go. And it took a whole lot of introspection and learning how to expand my horizons as an individual to become the person I could like again, so that, you know, we could then work on our marriage, which, like I said, is leaps and bounds above where it was.
Dee Dee, that is so powerful. You're going to have David and I crying.
Oh, I'm already crying.
Right? We don't even have Kleenex. Dee Dee, it's so powerful to hear, first of all, just like your voice, the hope in it, the turnaround in it, the strength in it from what you've been through is palpable. And you're one of my new favorite people. Like, I wish I could just give you a huge hug, because your ability to tell people of the change you've seen because of what you've endured, because of the hard things you went through, is what gives people hope. It is what gives the fuel people need to hang on one more day when they want to feel like giving up. One more day. Yeah. And you are the one who's able to do that, Dee Dee. Like, you and your transformation and your words are helping people do that. And I am so grateful for you.
Amen. Well, I am so grateful for you and the whole team. Speaking of the one more day, that was one of the things that got me through. I believe it was the podcast you said about I think it was a mountain climber who died right at the exit of perhaps Mount Everest because he didn't know how close he was to reaching his goal.
Yeah.
And that was powerful to me. And I think it was you also, Kimberly, that talked about box breathing. When I would go to visit with Rob, when we were in that vacillating back and forth, I used box breathing to calm myself before I got there and, you know, made a ding dong out of myself. So it's powerful. You learn so many tools through Marriage Helper that will help you as an individual. And Lord willing, and I think God's almost always willing, because He is the God of reconciliation.
Amen.
If you apply those to yourself and to your marriage can be saved. There is always hope.
There is always hope.
Wow. Thank you, Dee Dee.
I know, it's like mic drop moment. I don't even know where we go from here. Dee Dee, if you are ever in the Nashville area, you have to let us know. You have to come by the office so the whole team can meet you and take you to lunch and just get to know you. Yes.
Yep.
I would love it. I owe you guys so much. My sons owe you guys so much. They know it was because of you guys. I would listen to the YouTube videos at night to make sure that they got incorporated into my brain. My kids would go, "Are you listening to it again?" Sure am. So it needed to become part of who I was, and it did. And I would go to Mount Everest and shout it from the mountain, except for I'm not a good climber, so I'm probably not going to do that. But you guys are amazing in what y'all do. I know you guys believe in it so much, from the intake coordinator to the coach to the facilitators at both of the workshops I went to. It is so obvious with your team.
That's amazing, Dee Dee. Thank you so much.
Wow.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Like, really, super, super appreciative of you calling in. And you know what? If you and your husband ever want to come to our in-person, did you do an in-person couples workshop?
She's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I think she did both.
Here's what I'm going to do. Well, if you ever want to come back, come as our guest. We would love to have you come back again. That's so powerful.
Yep. One thing.
Tell me.
Everybody's at different places, right?
Yes.
And some might, even though Dee Dee is so encouraging, we need to hear that, because if one person can do it, if one couple can do it, somebody else can do it. But you might be discouraged because you're not near there right now. And I just want to encourage you, because everybody's at different places on this journey, right?
Yeah.
And so be encouraged. You can choose to be encouraged by that story.
Yeah.
And not discouraged. So I just want to encourage those who are not there yet.
That's right. That's right. This is the hope that you have. It is not to compare yourself against and say, well, I'll never get there.
That's right.
Everyone's story is going to turn out different. It's going to look different than you think it's going to look like. But if you do the right things and apply the tools and keep moving forward and doing the next right thing,
Right.
one day at a time, you will be amazed at what may happen. All right, y'all, we are reaching the end of our live show. I have enjoyed so much, David Matthews.
Thank you. Me
being
too.
on with me today.
It's always easy with you, Kimberly.
I
You're
know.
a great host.
I know.
You know.
I know, me.
We just need to work on your confidence.
That's right.
We need to work on
all
that.
the things. What you all didn't get to see was our deep dive into really theoretical and ethereal questions right before the show. Maybe we'll start doing like a pre-launch live stream of the things we talked about, like how the universe began. Fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff.
We would love to see you again here next week. Again, remember, we believe that there is always hope. See you next week.